someone else is going to go through it. One day you're going to be able to look back and, you're going to be able to read, what you were going through in that time. And it like I said, it's tough. It's hard. I remember, when you go through all this stuff, I remember journaling a lot of this stuff, the emotions that I felt, the things that I was going through, the tears, there's journal entries that you can see my tears smeared on the paper with the ink and everything. Cause, I cried there at certain times during, those journal entries, and it was tough, like I said, and it's one of those things that you can't really accept sometimes, but eventually you do, eventually you do. And it's one of those things that once you do, you're able to live better with it. Heartbreaks are like a bad nightmare that never ends. That's what it feels like. It's like a bad nightmare that never ends, and you're gonna go through a lot of them. And actually, matter of fact, I would like to read something to you guys. I think I still have it up here in my let me see. I have a good one. Thank you. Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome to the Mornings with Nano podcast. My purpose is to help all of you become the best versions of yourself.
This has palm oil. Oh, no, I'm good. High fructose corn syrup. I'm good off that. These are number one causes to cancer. I am not going to get cancer because I decided to choose what everyone else was eating instead of doing the right way.
Bro. And I remember a funny story. I remember the other day when I was in San Francisco a couple months ago, I was eating that donut burger. He was like, yo, how could you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I was like, Nano, you gotta love. I texted Nano on Instagram. I said, Nano, love yourself more. And he probably was eating it and just like spit it out like for a second, then kept eating it. He's like, I already paid for this.
So bad. I was like, damn, it wasn't so bad. I gotta love myself more when I was about to eat this donut burger. But it was true though. Like it was just like one of those things that I was like, I really want to enjoy this burger. So I'm like,
I ruined it for you.
You almost ruined it.
My bad,
but
some of you guys are like, what? Like no soda? Like, and I'm just telling you, man. Like I don't know about you guys, but I'm not busting my butt as an entrepreneur to get rich and then die. You know what I'm saying? Because I had poor eating habits along the way. I want to be able to be 60 hiking up a mountain. You know what I mean? I want to be able to be 70 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old, and still being able to walk. I don't want to have to go through multiple different, surgeries and all this kind of stuff. So I'm acting preventatively as opposed to reactive. And that's where the I guess this conversation, bro, comes down to the 1%. What is the 1% different? They're proactive instead of reactive in their health, in their finances, in their decision making, in everything. They're proactive instead of reactive, whereas the 99%, they wait for the doctor to tell them, yo, you shouldn't be eating that, and then they'll do it. Or you're gonna die, or you're gonna need a surgery. They wait till their bank account's in the red, and then they start looking for supplemental streams of income, and then they start looking to budget and be intelligent with their money.
Thank you for listening to Mornings with Nano. I would really appreciate it if you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and leave a comment below on how Mornings with Nano has brought value to your life. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys follow me on Instagram at Long Live Nano, Neno, so I can get you guys plugged into my morning mastermind. Remember, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. All right, familia, grand rising. Happy Tuesday. I am so excited to be here with each and every single one of you guys. Welcome to Mornings with Nano, YouTube and Instagram edition. I'm so excited to be here because, as you guys know, certain times throughout the week, I love to teach from the Bible. It's one of my favorite things to do. And today, we're going to be doing exactly that. So I'm actually extremely excited to teach today. Anytime we get a chance to teach from the word is always a pleasure for me. So always looking forward to it, always looking to grow and just be able to align ourselves. But real quick, how is everybody feeling in the chat? Let me know, describe in one word how you're feeling today. Let me know in the chat, how is everyone feeling today? Just want to know right here. Let me just transfer this over to my notes so that we can get this call rocking. But let me know, guys, how's everybody feeling in the chat? I'm feeling so blessed, so excited. At the end of the day, any day that we get a chance to wake up and grow and become a better version of ourselves is always an honor and a privilege, honestly. So I see some people feeling grand, feeling elated, blessed, grateful. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you guys are all feeling good, feeling amazing. Real quick, if you guys did the tips and tricks that I gave you guys to do yesterday, right after the call, when it came to obviously your evaluation, your brain dump, your schedule, congratulations letter. Did anybody do that? Put some threes in the chat box. If you did that right there, let me see who did it. Who did it? And also let me know, how did it feel after? Did anybody do it? And tell me, how did it feel right after you did it? Like what was the feeling? Went to a coffee shop, took action. There we go. Let me know how you guys felt as well. Like, how did it feel to, be on that and basically align yourself the way that we did? Okay, grateful. I love that. Amazing. Felt amazing. Went to the coffee shop. Appreciate you. No congratulations letter though. Okay, no, that's fine. You can wait till the end. We can wait till October 1st to write those. Courtney, I love brain dumps. I immediately felt relieved. I love that for you, Courtney. Tyshawn, no, Troy. I see you, Troy. Sean, ready for the week now. La Tierra felt lighter. Just don't rig me into praying for the old boy again. There you go. Amazing. Here we go. So I'm glad that you guys were able to obviously do that, do those little tips and tricks. Like I said, these are really important things that we can apply to our day-to-day that can make a massive difference. Like, imagine you do that for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Like, you do that over a 5-year period and you make that like one of your little tips and tricks. And a couple years from now, people are going to ask you, yo, what were some key things that you did that helped you shift your life, that helped you become more productive? And you're gonna tell them, yo, my mentor once taught me once. He said, yo, every Sunday, I gotta do an evaluation, I gotta do a brain dump, and I gotta create my calendar for the week before I started. Like, because remember, that's what somebody did for me. Somebody showed me the importance of these things. I took action on it and made a massive difference in my life. I see the results changing for me now. And years later, like, I really do see it years later. Like, it takes time for you to start to see the difference in it. Because if you do it one week, great, right? But if you do it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 90 days, 6 months, a year, that's when you start to see the change and the difference, because you start to realize the evaluations, you start to fix those things, you start to realize that your brain dumps are great because you get a chance to complete a lot more of what you would usually put to the side. You finishing your calendar, you're finishing your week a lot easier. It's a lot easier to show up for the week because now your calendar is stacked and all you have to do is show up for it. So it's just one of those things that put a lot of things into perspective for a lot of people, that it really does help out. And then those congratulations letter, if it's something that you guys are interested in, it is another way for you to just start to finish and start with the end in mind. So just something to just something to keep you guys aware of. Very valuable information. Keep that going because it is going to be something good. Now, today's training is titled From Vision to Victory. From Vision to Victory. And basically, it is the 5 biblical keys to personal growth. I've been doing a lot of studying, and as you guys know, over the years, I did life. I would say a lot of my personal development journey at the beginning was a lot different than most people's journeys. I remember when I started, a lot of people would tell me, well, Nano, a lot of these books that you read, a lot of it comes from the Bible. And I never wanted to read the Bible because there's something about big books that I guess they overwhelm me or they intimidate me. But these Bibles and these books, I was like, I don't want to have to read a whole Bible to really understand. I'd rather read a short book of 100 pages, 150 pages, and I'll be able to understand things a lot better. So I always avoided reading the Bible, right? But everybody would always tell me, like, yo, every book that you read, almost every book, you know, most of it is derived and a lot of the principles come from the word. So I avoided it for a couple of years, and I read 100+ books before I actually picked up the Bible and read it actually. So I want you guys to know that. But in the last 2 years, I picked it up and I started to learn from it. I started to teach from it. I started to, really get deep into the word, and it's really shifted me because I really understand it on a deeper level now than I've ever did. So I started to look it up and I started to study it, and I find out that there's some biblical keys on in the word that have everything to do with personal growth. Like everything that we talk about on mornings when everything that we represent, all right, there's actually keys in the Bible that basically represent it from a biblical perspective. So I started to do my research and I ended up finding out that there's about 5 really powerful ones. There's obviously a lot more, but there's 5 really powerful verses in the Bible that represent the importance of personal growth. And that's what I'm going to cover on today's call, right? Be able to help you guys take the vision that you have in your mind into victory. All right. And I'm going to go over the 5 biblical keys that are going to help you guys understand the importance of personal growth. So put a 5 in the chat box if you guys are ready to run today's training. Okay. Put a 5 in the chat box. Now, a quick disclaimer, and I always say this. I do teach from the Bible, and I want you guys to know I do it with respect to whatever you believe in as well. Obviously, these biblical principles far exceed a lot of things that we believe in today. So I want to make sure that everybody knows I do this with respect to what everybody believes in. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and it always makes it hard on me. I don't know why. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is about you mentioning Jesus and the Bible, and it starts giving me connection issues. It's like an algorithm where if those words come up, it kind of messes us up. But we're not gonna stop, and I'm gonna continue to be loud about it, right? So this whole training is gonna be about the Lord. So get ready. All right. So let's go to biblical principle number 1 that talks about the importance of personal growth. All right. Now, the first one is the renewing of your mindset. Renew your mindset. It comes from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2. All right. Romans chapter 12, verse 2, which basically says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is and his good and pleasing and perfect will. Now, in the Bible, there's literally a whole verse dedicated to this, right? There's literally a whole verse dedicated to this. All right. And I want you guys to write this one down. I actually put it in the chat box right there. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world. Now, a lot of us, we got to remember, think of the patterns of the world, right? And if you sit down and you think about it, think about what majority of people do now. Okay, I'm back. And you know what the thing is, my Wi-Fi is fully good. It's all good. It's all solid. So it's more a connection issue with YouTube. I don't know what's going on. All right, guys. I think I should be good now. I'm sorry that that is happening. My IG, my this never ever happens. Like it never freezes this much. I don't know why it's freezing as much as it is. Um, I guess certain words I say is obviously trying to silence me, especially nowadays with everything that's going on. Maybe the algorithm is attacking it even more, but we're still gonna continue to, run today's training. So let's continue. So point number one is all about the renewing of the mind, right? In the Bible, he says, Romans chapter 12, verse 2, he says, do not conform to the patterns of this world. All right. And we got to keep this in mind. A lot of us, we didn't have a choice when it came to the patterns of this world because we were born into the patterns. We were almost taught to follow these patterns. Think about it. Our parents, our teachers, our friends, our family members were already conformed to the patterns unless you grew up in a family that didn't buy into those patterns. All right. For example, my mom and dad, they conform to the patterns of the world. All right. They went to school. My dad didn't get a degree, but my mom did. And love you, Tyler. Appreciate you, my brother. And they conform to the patterns of the world, right? They went to school, got their degrees, they worked jobs, right? And my mom worked till she was 65, right? 66 years old, and then retired, right? My father, he's retired, but he still works because he doesn't want to be at home all day, and they never got a chance to really create their own because they conformed to the patterns of the world. They thought like everybody else, they acted like everybody else, they did everything like everybody else. Now, if you want to be different, if you want to accomplish amazing things in life, put a 2 in the chat real quick if that's you. If you want to accomplish amazing things, you want to create a life for your family, for your kids, you want to travel the world, you want to give back, you want to become wealthy, you want to be able to serve your purpose better than you've ever served it, right? If you want to do that, then you can't conform to the patterns of this world. And that's not me telling you that. That's God telling you it. Don't conform to the patterns of this world. But look at what he says. He said, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So this is why it's important that every single one of us are working on ourselves every single day. This is important because every day we must make it a priority to work on ourselves, change ourselves, read good books, listen to audios, jump on mornings with Nano. All right. Because understand that your mindset is going to determine the altitude that you have. You can't grow with old ways of thinking. You got to let the old ways of thinking go, right? The person that you were a couple of years ago is not the person you should be right now. You should be thinking from a different level of ideas, different level of thought, different level of awareness, because this is important. All right. So understand your mindset determines your altitude. Like Jim Rohn says, your income is a reflection of your personal development. So if you're not happy with your income, it's a reflection of your personal development. If you want your income to grow, you need to grow. So think about your income currently. If you're not happy with your income, then that means there needs to be more personal growth on your side. When I learned this, everything changed for me. And I couldn't conform to the patterns of the world because let me tell you guys, a lot of people did tell me to conform to the patterns of the world. They said, Nano, go get a job. Nano, go back to school. Nano, that stuff isn't going to work. Nano, do this instead. Nano, this, Nano, that. And what they were doing was, it wasn't that they were trying to hold me back. It's just that's all they knew. They didn't know that I can create a better life by myself by doing this and by reading these books and by joining digital businesses. They didn't know any better. So I remember, you're always going to take a journey that most people are not going to agree with. That's how it works, right? And you have to take the journey to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I had to go from somebody that never read books to somebody that read books. I had to be somebody that only listened to hood music that talked about guns, drugs, and girls and this. I had to stop listening to this and listen to audios and listen to podcasts, right? I had to stop partying and going out on the weekend and spending money on those things, and instead invest that money into events, invest that money into masterminds, invest that money into coaching. Realize how I had to change my patterns. I had to change my patterns instead of eating. All right, my brother Eddie, appreciate you, G. Instead of eating, junk food and fast food, I had to change the way I was eating and start eating healthier foods, all organic and etc. Right? I had to change my ways. I had to change the patterns and change the way that I was living my life in order for me to change. And that's for all of us on this call. Every single one of you that are here today, you have to change your ways. You have to change your way of thinking. That's going to be the key to everything that you're looking for in life. And look, even still, me today, I'm still changing my ways. I'm still continuing to do more of what I need to do because I gotta let this. Yeah, let's link, bro. Let's link soon for sure. I gotta leave the old Nano behind. Remember, before I jumped into personal development, I was 25 years old. 25 years old before I started to learn about these things. So right now I'm 31. That means that I've only been working on the renewing of my mind for 6 years. Now, have I made a lot of progress in 6 years? Yes. But remember, I was conformed to the patterns of the world for 25 years. Think about that. Now, real quick, before you jumped into personal development, similar to me, how old, how many years were you conformed to the patterns of the world? Type it in the chat box for me. Before you jumped into like the reading of the books, the listening of the audios, and so on and so forth, even if you're still working a job and so on, like how many years were you conformed to the patterns of the world, right? Let me know in the chat. All right. There we go. I see. So I see 30 years. Damn, sheesh, Michael, you did it a little bit later, but that's good though, bro. That's good. 30 years. I was 26. Similar, me and you, Troy, very similar. 28 years for La Tierra. 20 years. You see, for is that Ray's room? I think that's Sarai, right? If I'm not mistaken. Ricardo, 39 to 40 years old, 21, 19. All right. So for, and look, I'll tell you guys this, for us that were a little bit older, 25, 30s, some of us even in our 40s, obviously it's gonna take us a little bit longer because we were conformed to the patterns of the world for a lot longer, right? Now, it doesn't mean that it's gonna take you longer. That's not what it means. Just because, it took you a lot longer to change, your ways and the patterns doesn't mean it's going to take you longer. Some people, I've seen them change their ways and in a year completely lock in. Now here's the thing. For my people that are young, you guys are blessed, and let me tell you guys why. For example, I'll use my sister Sarai as an example. Sarai, she was able to obviously start jumping into personal development a lot younger, right? So she got into it at like 19, 20 years old. Now, somebody like that, you got to think about it. Somebody like that really hasn't been conformed to the patterns of the world as much because usually you're in school till 18, high school till 18, then you go to college to like about 22 if you do go to college. All right. So usually somebody like that didn't conform to the patterns of the world for as long. So it's easier for somebody like that to break those patterns. And by the age of 25, they could already be extremely successful. But for somebody like me, I started a little bit later. So I had to put in a lot of work. And it also depends, obviously, the environment you grew up in, where you grew up, who were your parents. Like there's just so much that goes into it, right? Obviously. So I don't want to get too deep into it because I could literally run a whole training on just this one verse right here, which is Romans 12:2. All right. This is why us, now that we're becoming parents, for a lot of us, I'm not a parent yet, but I know I will be in the future. I understand the importance of how to develop my kids' mindset from a baby, right? Because remember, I'm letting the old version of Nano die. So my kids are not going to grow up in the same environments as I did, right? They're not going to grow up with the same limitations, the same affirmations, the same money struggles. They're not going to grow up in that. They're going to have a completely new, different mindset. And that's what life is all about, right? That's what life is all about. So the first biblical principle that teaches us that personal development is key is Romans 12:2. It says, do not conform to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right. And then here's the key. When you renew your mind, and then it says, here's the second sentence, then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And I'll tell you guys something. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, yo, do you regret not jumping into the Bible soon enough, like earlier in your career? And I thought about the question. And for a sec, I wanted to say yes, but then I ended up saying no. And here was my reason for it. I said, the only reason I'm going to say no is because when I was still young and I was still living in the hood and in the back in Washington Heights, I wasn't ready to receive the word from the Bible. I wasn't ready. All those books that I read helped me grow in consciousness. It helped me grow in awareness. And then when I started reading it, I was accepting it. I was more submissive to the word. So I'm actually grateful that my journey started with all the personal development books because it taught me the importance of personal development. It made me aware of information. I read books that was always there for me, that helped me become aware of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm grateful that I did it that way because that was what allowed me to become more submissive and more accepting of the information when it came, right? So for a lot of us, it's going to be different. I know people that they're starting their personal development journey with the word, and that's beautiful. I love that for you, right? That wasn't my path. But what I want you guys to know is that both paths lead to the same thing, which is that relationship, right? It leads to that path, which is that relationship with the Lord and understanding it, right? Whether you start with personal development books first and then get into the Bible, or you start with the Bible and then you go into the personal development books later. Either way, there's no wrong path. At the end of the day, the last will be first, the first will be last. That's what it says in the Bible, right? So just something to think about, right? So point number one is renew your mindset. Keep that in mind. Point number two, all right, it's all about building strong habits. All right. It's all about building strong habits. I'm still young. No, I'm super young. Right. It's all about building strong habits. Right. In the Bible, it says, Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1. He says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. Sheesh. This is a good one right here. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. This is just basically helping us understand that habits shape our future. Discipline and accountability is what creates consistency. We got to always keep this in mind. We got to love waking up and doing our work every single day. We got to love that. All right. We have to love the importance of waking up and working on ourselves. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. This is so true because I'll tell you guys what, because of my disciplined attitude over the years, I fell in love with knowledge. I fell in love with the reading of the books. I fell in love with listening to audios, going to events because I love discipline. That morning routine, me being disciplined with my morning routine, I love it so much because every day I learn something new. Every day I learn a new verse. Every day I listen to something new. Every day I'm learning more and more about myself. And it says it's all about building strong habits. But here's what he also says, but whoever hates correction is stupid. Whoever hates correction is stupid, which means that if you're being corrected and you hate it, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're stupid. And I've been there. I used to be the one that hated correction. I wanted everything to work for me. I wanted everything to go right. I never wanted anything to go against me. I was just like this oblivious and naive kid that just wanted everything to work out for me. And I never thought that I could be corrected. But that was stupid of me. Correction is good. One of my favorite Bible verses actually is Job 5:17, where he states, blessed is whom, let me get you guys the exact verse because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to say it right. I don't want to say it wrong, but let me just get you the right one, right? So here it is. Blessed is the one whom God corrects. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty. I would love to give you a book. Please, yes, DM me and I'll send you my information. Blessed is whom God corrects. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty. What is that basically saying? Blessed is the person that God corrects. So if you're being corrected right now, you're blessed, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're being corrected right now. If God is correcting you in some area in your life, whether it's personal life, whether it's your finances, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your finances. No, I said finances already. Whether it's your business, it could be your job, it could be your family. Blessed is the one that God corrects. So, Christina, you're blessed. Tonette, you're blessed. Troy, you're blessed. Eugene, you're blessed. Courtney, you're blessed. Santa, TJ, make it happen. You're blessed. Behances, you're blessed. Nat, you're blessed. Jose, you're blessed. Kay, you're blessed. T, Badazar, Jasmine, Carmen, Steph, all of us, we're blessed. Like, imagine you telling somebody because God is correcting you that you're blessed. Mick, you're blessed, bro. Every single one of us, we're blessed because God is correcting us. Global marketing mentor, you are blessed. We are all blessed because God corrects us. So what does it say after? Do not despise the discipline of the Almighty. If you're being corrected, it's because you're slipping up. You're not being obedient. You're not being righteous. You're not keeping your word. You're not handling your money correctly. All right. Like there's a lot of things that you're probably doing, and that's the reason why you're being corrected. Remember, things don't happen to you, they happen blank. Finish it for me. If things don't happen to us, then why do they happen? Things don't happen to you, they happen blank. They happen for you. They happen for you. So everything that's happening is happening for you. Learn to accept that. The faster you accept that right there, like it took me a time to understand that and accept it because, we get challenged so much, right? So how can we get challenged so much and look at it for the positive, right? You gotta find a way to look for the positive in everything that happens in your life. Like, what's the positive in everything that's happening in your life? It's happening to you. And here's the thing. God will correct you over and over and over again until you learn the lesson. So if, for example, God corrected me a lot with my finances. I was a bad money manager, terrible money manager, still working on it. I'm not perfect at it. But over the years, I spent a lot of money and I mismanaged my money incorrectly for many years. I was the type, get it, spend it. Get it, spend it, get it, spend it, get it, spend it. I didn't look. I would just dinner here, dinner there, buy this, buy that. No money management. My money controlled me. I didn't control my money. So there came a time in my life where God tested me. And the income that I did have was decreased by a lot. So all that leftover money that I usually had to spend on dinners and going out and this, now I no longer had that anymore. So God brought me down to an income level where I had to manage every single dollar to be able to make it through. Where I had to look at my monthly income, and I had to literally diversify every single dollar. I had to know where every dollar was going in order for me to be able to even make my monthly expenses and be able to pay my monthly bills, because my income had decreased so much because God was correcting me. He said, I'm not going to give you 50 a month, 100 a month if you don't even know how to manage what I've given you. So God had tested me in that time in my life. And you know what I learned then? The power of budgeting, the importance of making sure I control my money instead of money controlling me. And you know how I did that? I did that by looking at it from a positive perspective. In the beginning, it sucked. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you like I was excited and I was excited that God had tested me. No, I was pissed. I was furious because now I don't have all that extra money. Now I don't have all these things working out for me. So I had to figure it out. So I remember what I did was at the time I said, okay, Nino, find the blessing here. What is God trying to teach you? So I started to sit down and I started to think, and it's obvious the reason why my income would go down is because obviously I mismanaged my money, right? God is taking away what he had gave me because I took it for granted. He gave me all this money and I took it for granted. I didn't do the right things with it. So now I got to figure out how to do the right thing with it. So I sat down. Okay, I said, all right, now let me look at where my money is going. So I printed out my bank statements with all my transactions for 3 months. I printed it out. I printed it out, literally, my bank statements with all transactions for 3 months. And I started to identify where my money was going. And literally, and I categorized it. Okay, this is for groceries. This is for bills. This is for Ubers. This is for Apple Pay. This is for, random stuff. And yo, guys, when I tell you that I was disgusted, I was so disappointed in myself when I realized how many subscriptions I was paying for that I didn't even use anymore. When I started to realize how much of my money was going towards eating out, when I started to sit down and I was like, oh my God, Nano, what are you doing, bro? Like, look at how much money you're spending here. Look at how much money you're spending there. And now, because I didn't have the income that I had that I had before, I had to change, had to learn the lesson. I had to learn the lesson. God was correcting me. So now all that money that I was spending on subscriptions, I had to cancel all of those. Saved a couple hundred there. I was spending thousands on eating out. Not hundreds. I was spending thousands on eating out because living in Miami, you go out to dinner for 2 or 3 or whatever it is, you're spending $300-400, like nothing, especially if you're getting drinks, forget about it. So I was going out a couple times a month. I was spending over $2,000 a month on eating out. I was like, plus I'm also buying groceries as well. That's when it's the worst, when you're buying groceries to save money, but then you're also spending money on eating out. That's when it really gets bad, right? So I started to recognize these things. I minimized my expenses and everything down to the point where I was only making enough to basically pay my bills. Luckily, I had some savings that just in case. But guys, I had to literally limit everything down to the amount of money that I was making a month. I was basically living check to check because now I had to learn my lesson. I had to learn how to manage my money properly. Now, every single month, I knew, okay, I only have $500 or $500 to $700 for groceries. So now every time I went to buy groceries, I wasn't being obnoxious and just grabbing things off the shelf and be like, I need this, 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 this. Now everything was planned. Now everything was coordinated. Now I knew, okay, I paid this much for Wi-Fi. I paid this much for my phone bill. I paid this much here. I got to send my mom this much money. This is how much I pay for rent. Okay, these are all my things here. This is how much money I got to allocate to eating out. Right? I only can spend, $300 a month on eating out. Now, instead of spending $2,000 a month eating out, now I'm only going to allocate $300 to $400 to eating out. So now I knew exactly where every single one of my dollars were going. The lesson was learned. I learned my lesson. God hasn't tested me in that area anymore. You know why? Because I learned my lesson. He corrected me. And luckily, obviously, income goes back up. Everything goes in the way that it's supposed to, but he had to correct me first. And if you're going through something similar, It happens, guys. God has corrected me in my finances. God has corrected me in my relationships. God has corrected me in my business. God has corrected me in so many different areas in my life. But you're supposed to understand the lessons that come with that. So always keep that in mind. So that's point number 2. All right, when it comes to it, right? Building strong habits. And let me tell you guys, like Alan said in the chat, money management is key. The thing is, nobody taught us that in school. And a lot of it, unfortunately, unless you have somebody unless you're gonna pay somebody to teach you, you're gonna have to learn it on your own. It's gonna be self-taught. Like I learned money management by myself. Like I learned self-taught. I had to read books. I had to ask questions. I had to. And it's key to, I agree. It's really crazy that they don't. Like I wish I would have understood the importance of money management, taxes, uh, having good credit, all these different things that I didn't know. I didn't care about my credit back in the days. So I was just whatever with my credit. I didn't understand the importance of taxes. I didn't understand the importance of having a life insurance policy. And guys, if I could go, like this is why I'm learning all these lessons, because my goal eventually is to like open up a school, a center where I can teach my students and my people from the beginning. Yo, look, this is how you budget your money. All right, this is how we're going to set you up for your money. Here, we're going to set you up with a life insurance policy. Even if it's $30 a month, $40 a month, start now that you're young. Start building it up now that you're young. Here, let me show you how to build your credit up so that you can have a 750 to $800 credit score by the time you're 25, 30 years old. Here's how to take care of your taxes. Here's how to set up LLCs and S corps and all of these different things so that your money is taken care of later down the road. There's so many things that we don't know. So many things that I had to make mistakes because nobody sat down with me and taught me these things. So now I'm paying for the mistakes. All right. I'm paying for the mistakes, and it's okay. I'm paying for them. I'm fixing my credit. I'm taking care of certain things. I'm putting policies together. I'm budgeting my money, and that's fine. I get that. But if I could go back to when I was 21 and I could tell Nano, like, yo, Nano, look, learn the power of budgeting. Look, bro, start a life insurance policy from now. Don't wait till don't think, people think, oh, I got to get that later. No, no, no. Get it the earlier, the better. Stack it up now. Yo, learn how to build your credit, right? Start with a small credit card, $500 credit limit. Start building it up. Start making payments on time. Start doing that, right? Yo, here's the keys to your taxes, right? Set up this LLC, set up this, set up this, set up this. Boom, all these little things that I didn't know. That had I known those things, I would have applied it. And now years later, makes a massive difference, man. Makes it like all my millionaire friends, I look at them today and I think of my millionaire friends, and all my millionaire friends, they understand budgeting. They understand, they all have policies, they all have trust, they have all these things. And I look at it and I'm like, yo, why weren't we taught those things? They all have 800 credit scores. We got to teach those things, right? And that's actually one of the things that I'm going to be jumping into here very, very soon, right? One of the things that I'm going to be offering soon with my mentorship when I open it up and I step into what I'm going to be doing with mentorship and consulting is those things. It's consulting people, connecting people. Okay, yo, you don't know how to budget? Let me help you get set up with that. You don't know how to get your credit set up so that you can create something for, an 800 credit score. Let me help you get that set up because I'm going to be an example of it. Right. But the thing is, remember, guys, I'm a teacher. So I will never tell you guys to do something I'm not doing. So I'm in the process of doing all of this so that then I can come on here and give you guys the exact sauce as well. So that's number 2. And sorry, I took way longer than I was supposed to on that. Number 3. All right. Number 3 basically says persevere through the trials. One of my favorite Bible verses in all of the Bible is James chapter 1, verses 2-4, where he basically says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete and not lack anything. Oh my God. What a fire Bible verse, man. You know, I learned this Bible verse this year. James 1, 2 through 4. I learned this Bible verse for the first time this year. And this is honestly, if I could say, if I could tell you guys, like, one of the Bible verses that has made the biggest impact on me this year that I'm continuously repeating in my mind is this one right here. I love this Bible verse. Like, I truly, truly love this Bible verse. Read it again, listen to it. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Think about how awesome that is. Think about how dope that is. Consider it pure joy, right? If you look up the definition of joy, right? Let's look up the definition of joy. Pure joy. What is the definition? Pure joy definition. Pure joy is a profound feeling of complete happiness, delight, and elation that is untainted by other emotions or concerns, often stemming from deep contentment or a spiritual connection rather than fleeting circumstances. It represents an inner state of bliss and peace, sometimes understood as a gift of the spirit or a state of being separate from external conditions. Wow. Pure joy comes from within, and it is not dependent on a specific external uh, circumstances. Consider it pure joy when you go through trials of many kinds. Think about that. God is telling us, yo, be happy, be joyful, be at peace. You know, I think about this and it just came to me. Now it makes sense why Alex Morton and Bob Proctor, they gave me this quote once. I was in a mentorship call and they said to me, let me go back to it. Let me think about the exact yeah, here it was. It's crazy how I could do that actually. But he said, do not let any external circumstances affect your internal peace. I didn't understand it like that back then, but now it makes a lot more sense. Do not let any external things on the outside affect your internal peace. Your internal peace is everything. So consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters. I have brothers and I got sisters on this call. Consider it pure joy when you go through your challenges. Like, literally be happy and excited and be content. Complete happiness, complete delight. Like, think about that, guys. How many of us let our challenges get the best of us? How many of us let the things that we go through bring us down, make us sad, make us stressed, make us overwhelmed? I've been there before. I know that feeling. I'm still working on it. I'm not sitting here and telling you guys, yo, I'm perfect and I'm just smiles and everything when things happen to me. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's actually a lot harder than it sounds. Considering it pure joy, we're talking about a complete happiness that you could be going through one of the hardest things in life, and God wants you to consider it pure joy. Remember, it's not coming from me. It's coming from the man himself. He's telling us, yo, be happy, be content, be elated that you're going through the challenges. Because here's what he says. Because you're going through those challenges, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And he says, let perseverance finish his work. Let perseverance finish his work so that you may be mature and complete and not lack anything. Appreciate you, bro. Grateful for you, man. Let perseverance finish his work. Hey, you're going through it right now? Let perseverance finish his work so that you can mature and be complete and not lack anything. And I'll be real with you guys. I've gone through a lot. And looking back now, I can see that because I let perseverance finish his work, I've matured a lot. Now, am I fully mature? No. You know, I read this thing earlier that it says it takes men till they're 35, 40 years old to like be more fully matured. I'm still maturing, right? Like, I told this the other day. Yeah, bro, I would love to be on your podcast, bro. So let's set it up. DM me. Um, I forgot who I was saying this to the other day, but I'm like, yo, I just moved out of my parents' house, at 26, so I was still a baby, I was still very immature at 26. I've really been out of my parents' house for the last 5 years, right? Like, I didn't start paying bills till I was like 26, 27 years old for real. Like, my mom was still paying for my bills at 26, 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started my life a little bit later as a man. To my defense, it was kind of like it was a gift and a curse for me, So you guys got to always keep these things in mind. Consider it pure joy that you go through what you go through, because it's only going to develop you. I was kicked out at 16. Sheesh. So you see, you're a lot more mature than I was, for sure. At 16, I was still living with my parents. At 26, I was still living with my parents. I moved out at 27, 26, 27. So, this is it takes time. It takes time, fam. I'm telling you, it's a journey, but we got to consider it pure joy. All right. Let's go to point number 4. So we can wrap it up here. I only got 2 more points for you. Number 4 is write the vision. You got to write the vision. We talk about this every day, writing your goals down. In the Bible, there's this book. I haven't read this book, but I looked it up. It's called Habakkuk. Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, verse 2 basically said, then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that the herald may run with it. Right? Excuse my mispronunciation, but I hope I said that right. Habakkuk. I hope I said that right. Habakkuk. Right? Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that the herald may run with it. Basically letting us know, guys, that we got to write our goals down. We have to write our goals down. Clarity creates momentum. A written goal gives direction and accountability. This is why writing your goals down is so important. Make it plain. You got to make it plain. This is so important. And you know what's funny? I didn't even know that there was a verse in the Bible that told us to write our goals down till I started doing my research this week. I'm like, is there anything in the Bible that says anything about writing our goals down? And then I found out about this Bible verse right here. It's so important. Write your goals down. How many of us are writing our goals down every day? Did you write your goals down today? Did you write down your goals yesterday? Have you been writing down your goals all summer? Write your goals down, the same goal over and over and over and over again until it happens. Because if I ask you, hey, did you check your Instagram yesterday? You'll probably say yes. Did you check your TikTok yesterday? Yes. Did you message back somebody else? Yes. Did you brush your teeth yesterday? Yes. But if I ask you, yo, did you write your goals down yesterday? What's going to be the answer? Write it down every day, twice a day, morning and night, daily. Otherwise, I lose my mind. I agree. Write it down every day. Write the vision. And remember, this is coming straight from the Lord himself. Straight from the Lord himself. So write the vision. That's number 4. And then last but not least, number 5, which is the power of small steps. Number 5 is the power of small steps. And there is a verse in the Bible from Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10 that says, who dares despise the day of small things? Since the 7 eyes of the Lord that range throughout the earth will rejoice when they see the chosen capstone in the hand of the cherubim. Right? So who dares despise the day of small things? Basically saying that small beginnings matter. Success is built step by step by step. Don't despise the small steps. That's what God is telling us. Don't despise the small steps. Fall in love with them. Fall in love with the small steps. Every day, those small steps make massive, massive differences. We all want big things to happen in our lives, but remember, the big things are all a reflection of the small steps that are continuously added on as the years go along. This is important information that we all got to remember. I'm still taking small steps every single day, right? I had a student last night. I don't know if she's on this call, but she basically asked me like, "Yo, Nano, I have a big vision that I want to accomplish, and sometimes I feel like I hold myself." The verse for that one was Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 10. Zechariah with a Z. Verse 10. No, sorry, chapter 10, verse 10. Chapter 4, verse 10, sorry. Chapter 4, verse 10, Zechariah. So yeah, exactly, Eugene. The journey of 1,000 miles, or the thousand of a, I usually say that the journey of 1,000 steps starts with the first step. And she was basically asking me, and I'll wrap it up with this story right here. She was basically telling me, she was like, "Yo, so I have a vision of things that I want to accomplish, but sometimes I find myself, you know, I find myself holding myself back from starting those things, right? Like I feel like everything needs to be right." And I said, "Look, I have a big vision." And I was explaining to her my big vision. I'm like, I have a vision of becoming a top bilingual motivational speaker in the world. I have a vision of hosting top retreats all around the world. I have a vision of building a very strong relationship with God, to build Alpha Society to 5,000 plus members, and etc. So I started telling her this vision. And I'm like, "Look, sis," I'm like, "I don't get a chance to work on it all the time. Like, there's it's such a big vision that it's going to take me so much time to get there that I just have to do a little bit every single day." Right? Like, I can't wait for the perfect time to start working on that vision. All right. Like, I have to start doing a little bit every time. Right. So, like, I gave her the example. I'm like, "Look, in order for me to become a top bilingual motivational speaker, I got to get a website. I need an intro video. This summer, I dedicated that to this." Right. I took money, I invested money into creating a website and an intro video. I needed that. And I also hired a coach. Those were three things that I needed to do in order for me to work towards becoming a top motivational speaker in the world, right? Now, had I not done those things, I wouldn't have taken any steps, and I would have been waiting for the right time. So I hired a coach, I created a website, and I did an intro video. I did those things. So I'm taking small steps towards that. I also did a bunch of little events and master classes that was going to help me get to that as well. Right? I told her, "Look, I want to host luxury wellness retreats all around the world. But in order for me to do that, I gotta host the first one. So look, at the end of the year, I'm hosting my first retreat in El Salvador. All right. Now, is that going to be the best retreat ever? Yes, it is. But guess what? The second one will be even better. The third one will be even better. The fourth one will be even better. Why? Because I'm only going to get better as they go. All right. Luckily for me, I've done hundreds of retreats because of my business. All right. But now I'm doing retreats that are also going to help other people, which is super important. I'm like, "Look, I have a goal to build my community of Alpha Society to 5,000 members. Right now, we're sitting at about 1,000 members or so. So what am I doing? Every day, I'm developing leaders. We're going to events together. We're making phone calls. We're developing. We're putting schedules together. We're raising standards. We're going through challenges. But every day, I'm doing a little bit towards working towards that 5,000, right? For example, I want to write a book. All right. Now, I haven't started writing the book, but I have the outline already ready. All right. So every day now, what I need to start doing, I really got to start writing my book because I want to drop it next year. I haven't started it yet. That's the truth be told. I've been holding back on it, but I got to do a little bit every day, even if it's just a page a day that I write down. Like, I could dedicate myself, sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and write one page that's going to be dedicated to my book. And if I plan on writing a book of 150 pages to 200 pages, then it'll only really take me anywhere between 3 to 6 months to finish the book. But I got to start somewhere. So it's important that we understand, do it. I have 3 books written already. Yeah, there you go. Patricia's crushing it, right? So Don't let the fact that you have a big vision and the fact that you're not where you want to do, where you want to be, stop you from working towards that big vision, even if it's a little bit every day. Because that's what the Bible is saying. Don't despise the small steps. The small steps is what's going to get you there. Don't despise the small steps, right? It's not like, for example, the person that wants to lose 20, 30 pounds, you don't just get in the gym and after one workout, that's it, you lost the 30, 40 pounds. It's working it every day. It's going to the gym daily. It's eating the right foods. It's hiring the trainer. It's taking the small steps every single day over a period of time that eventually leads to the big goal. Even for me in the gym, I want to get stronger. I want to get bigger. I want to get my six pack more refined and more better. But I'm not going to get a six pack if I'm eating out every day. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing what's required. It's going to happen by me working out consistently, me doing my cardio, me eating the right foods, me tracking my macros, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So don't, right? Somebody said, I wish. No, for real. I wish it was just one workout and boom, that's it. I'm lit. And my body's exactly how I want it to be. And but the thing is, we say we wish, but then we wouldn't learn anything because our discipline wouldn't grow, we wouldn't become better, we wouldn't learn the lessons along the way, and then it'll be too easy, so we'll take it for granted. But if we work towards it, we put in the pain for it, we sweat for it, we cry for it, then that's when it helps out, guys. So don't despise the small steps. And I know everybody here has big visions, right? Type vision in the chat box if you got a big vision for your life. Right? If you got a big vision for your life, I want you to type vision in the chat box. Right? Who has a big vision? I have a big vision. Right? Let me type vision in the chat myself as well. I have a big vision. Big vision. Oops, I misspelled that. Vision. We all have big visions, guys. But in order for us to accomplish those visions, we need to take small steps towards them every day. Don't let the fact that your vision is so big stop you from taking a small step today that'll help you accomplish that vision. Think about that. We all have amazing visions, all of us. But like I said, don't let the fact that you're not where you want to be at, the fact that you may not have the money that you want to have, or maybe you're going through a tough time. Don't let your current circumstances stop you from taking a small step towards that vision. Because look, I'm also being challenged. I'm also being corrected. There's also things happening in my life. But guess what? Every chance I get, I find a way to work towards that vision. To work towards that vision. Even if it's something as small as you could ever imagine. One small step could make a massive difference because it starts the ripple effect. It starts the domino effect. Boom, one action leads to the next one, and then to the next one, and then to the next one, and then to the next one, and next to the next one. That's how it works. That's how it worked for me with my speaking business. I jumped on a free master class. Next thing you know, after the master class, I hired a coach. After the coach, then he trained me. He was training me. Then he said, yo, we need a website. I started getting a website done. Then he said, we need an intro video. Now we're getting the intro video. And all of these things just out of nowhere, it's now become the domino effect. Next thing you know, you guys are going to be able to go into my website and be able to book me for speaking engagements. You're going to be able to go in there for my courses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in the meantime, we're just working. Like, for example, mornings with Ano every day. This is a small step every day towards my bigger vision. Like these calls that I do every morning on Instagram and on YouTube, these are all small steps towards the bigger vision that I have with this community, right? Because we're building the community. And I want to impact thousands. I want to impact millions of people. So that's why I go live every day. It's all part of the bigger vision. And this is what I want you guys to understand. So that's super key. So with that being said, that wraps up today's session. Sorry if I went a little longer than usual. I know we got challenged a lot at the beginning due to YouTube lagging me in and out of stuff, but we're here. We're good now. And I'm excited for it. So one more time from the top, the 5 biblical principles that help you when it comes to personal growth. We said number 1, which is the renewal of your mindset with Romans 12:2. We said number 2 was building strong habits. The Bible verse was Proverbs 12:1. We said number 3 was persevere through the trials, which is in James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. We said number 4 was write the vision, with Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2. And then the power of small steps, which is in Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10. All right, guys, I hope you guys got a lot of value from this, learned a lot from this, and was able to see the vision from a biblical perspective. Because that's what I like to do. Usually on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, I love to teach strictly from the Bible. Strictly from the Bible, so that you guys can see that everything else that I teach throughout the week is also related to everything that we're going through as well in life. So if you guys got value from today's training, give me some 555s. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. I'm very grateful for every single one of you. Thank you for everybody on Instagram as well. Oops, sorry. Thank you for everybody on Instagram as well that showed love. We had a bunch that came through Instagram, so we're super grateful and very blessed and grateful. I see my brother Lewis on the call. Let's go, my brother. Appreciate you being on. I see Greg is on too as well. Love it, love it, love it. Appreciate you guys being on, fam. I'm very grateful. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked this video, like this video, leave a comment below. I'm extremely, extremely grateful for every single one of you. I always do a little prayer at the end of every call. So I'm going to do a little prayer. What was number 2? Number 2 was building strong habits. Building strong habits. And the Bible verse that it refers to is Proverbs 12, verse 1. Proverbs 12, verse 1. All right, guys. So I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. Quick prayer, and we'll wrap it up right there. Quick prayer. Everybody bow your heads and let's pray. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Tuesday morning. We're all feeling so blessed and so grateful for the wisdom that you continue to pour into us each and every single day. We understand that on this journey of personal growth, there's a lot that we need to learn. And now more than ever, we understand exactly why everything happens. We know that things are not happening to us, they're happening for us. And every lesson, every correction, all the discipline, all the lessons that we're learning, we know that is all for a greater good, Father. So we just want to say thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the correction. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for leading us. Thank you for forgiving us of our trespasses. Thank you for it all. Continue to cleanse us of anything that's not serving us. Continue to be there for us each and every single day. Give us the strength to show up because we are committed to the purpose, God. We are committed to showing up each and every single day because we want to be the example that we want to see in the rest of the world, God. So we love you so much. We appreciate you. Everything that we do is for your praise and your glory. Let's go out and have a productive day. And in your name we pray. Amen. 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 Amen, fam. When am I coming to Chicago? Great question. Hopefully before the end of the year. I know it's already getting cold out there, so I was hoping to go to Chicago during the summertime, but I guess we'll see. Maybe before the end of the year, bro. I know we got some events we got to do, and I'm gonna be going on tour in October, so you may see me out there in Chicago at some point. Let's see. But with that being said, I hope it's still hot. Okay, good. Yeah, but if I go, it's gonna be in October, so I know it'll be a little colder out there. It probably won't be as cold though, but I'll let you guys know. I'm gonna be doing a tour here soon, so you guys will be aware of everything. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Mornings with Nano, 10:30 a.m. Instagram and YouTube. God bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you for buying the badges, by the way, as well. Appreciate you guys who bought badges as well.